Hello. Good morning, friends. All right. Looks like we're all set. Good morning. Thanks for coming to this guided meditation. We're going to start with the mindfulness a little bit more purely in the beginning. Some guidance, a little discussion, and end with some conversation. So get comfortable. Get in your meditation posture. You can sit down, you can lay down, whatever's comfortable for you. As you can see, I like to sit on my floor here. And thank yourself for this opportunity to be present and to simply be. So the idea is to be acutely aware of the experience of your present moment awareness. We can accomplish this by focusing on some quality of the present moment experience. Traditionally, it's the breath that meditation practitioners and teachers focus on. Breathe in, breathe out. And there's not an objective to stop thinking or to control your mind or to clear your mind. In mindfulness, you're better off thinking about it as when you observe yourself in thought, to kind of wrap that up and return to the present moment, to return to the breath. If some particular part of the breathing experience stands out to you, some sensation or observation, not a dialogue about the breath, but let's just say you just noticed for the first time during your meditation that you have a little bit of a runny nose. Use that experience. Just observe. Observe that runny nose and be present with that runny nose. Why not? Slow, deep breath through your nose. Controlled, relaxed exhale through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. So I just noticed I'm a little bit thirsty, and I have some water nearby. But first, I'm just going to sit for a bit. And be present with this experience of thirstiness. Until all my thoughts and judgments and narrative about being thirsty go away. I return back to the present moment. And then I'll go ahead and grab some water. Should have drank that water slow and deliberately and mindfully. And then I'll just return to the simple being mode. Breathing in, breathing out. Letting go of any thoughts that might come up by first observing them. You can choose to label them, say, thinking. I usually end up saying something like, okay. And then just go back to the thing that you're using to anchor yourself in that present moment experience. Let's try 2 minutes. Just breathing. Good. I enjoyed that. I hope you did as well. practice of mindfulness blesses us with many benefits. Help to manage stress, what I enjoy most is to meditate at the beginning of my day as part of my morning routine system. It's one of the last things I do. Second to last, I meditate right before I journal. So it's the last thing I do before I really get into planning and thinking about my day. And it serves to kind of zero out the scale, so to speak, to bring me back to a baseline mental state. No matter what's going on in my life, or what I might be doing or thinking about that day, I carry the ability to return to that being mode at any time. I can't just take one breath and be back in a meditative state, no matter what my state of mind is or emotional state. I don't have a mindful superpower that strong yet. But I know each time I meditate that I'm exercising that ability within myself. And I'm trying to find a way to get that on camera so you can see. And mindfulness is an exercise for your mind, just like an exercise for your body. It's obvious to us that if we started to run every day, we ran more and more and more, that our cardiovascular endurance would improve, our fitness would improve. Just like that, mindfulness is an exercise. So I often like to tell people who come to me and say, I can't meditate. My mind's too full of thoughts. I can't clear my mind. I can't sit somewhere still, quietly for a long time. That is exactly the same as someone saying, I get out of breath when I walk up the stairs. I can't walk to work. I just want to lay in bed because I don't have the energy to walk around all day. That's evidence that you need to exercise. That is reasons to exercise. If your fitness is poor, then you need to exercise all the more so. One place where I always make sure that I don't judge people, I generally, as a rule, try not to judge people. I like to say the mantra, judgment is an attachment to superfluities that I abandoned long ago. But I'm particularly careful not to judge people when they're at the gym, especially about their physique or their level of fitness, because they're at the place to improve that. They're doing what they need to do. They're taking the corrective action. Just like we shouldn't judge those individuals, and I hope that you wouldn't, and you could agree that a good person would not judge them. When you are in your meditative practice, don't judge yourself for if you struggle to quiet your mind, if you have intrusive thoughts, invasive thoughts, noise in your mind, dialogue. You can't help think about how you almost got into a car accident last night, or that argument you got into with your significant other, or your boss, or your mom and dad, or your sibling, or all these things. Because the practice of mindfulness is the exercise to be better at letting go of those things. In fact, just like a rep, when you do an overhead press with weight or any kind of exercise, that's that one little increment that makes you stronger. Anytime you are lost in thought, that you're thinking, and you return to present moment awareness, that's a rep. In fact, if you, for some reason, if you're capable of sitting down, immediately going into the present moment awareness, staying in it the whole time throughout the meditation, and then being done and moving on, you might actually not get as much out of the exercise of meditating as someone who every few minutes observes that they're in thought, dismisses it, and returns to the present moment awareness. That's the exercise. So it's fine if you find yourself absorbed in thought. Don't judge yourself. Definitely don't critique or punish yourself for that. Thank your mind for showing up for the meditation and return to the present moment. Now, I put this workbook on screen. I hope you can see it. It's called the Mindful Way Workbook. It's an 8-week guide, introduction to mindfulness meditation for anxiety and depression. Now, mindfulness is very good for people who have anxiety and depression. But I think everyone could improve their mental health, their mental strength, their capacity for that. Present moment awareness, plus adding mindfulness to your toolkit for dealing with the amount of anxiety or the amount of anguish, the mental turmoil that you do have, because we all have some. So it's particularly beneficial for those with anxiety and depression, but it could benefit everyone. So I'm going to be starting to use that workbook as a guide somewhat for these meditation streams, and I'm just going to keep bringing it up this week so that you can get it in time in case you want to follow along with me starting on Monday. I guess 4 or 5 streams from now, if you want to count it that way. I want to end, so in your mindfulness practice, you also have a choice of how to transition back out of the meditation. And my recommendations for that, well, what I do personally is I do journaling. I use what's called a best self journal. Or no, it's called the Self Journal, and it's made by Best Self, the company. And it has a morning gratitude practice. You write down today's targets, 3 things. You write down your long-term goals, so you're always looking forward into the future, those long-term targets. And then you write in it at night 3 things you're grateful for: lessons learned, wins. So it's really good to couple your mindfulness practice with a gratitude practice. So why don't you take a moment to think about what you're grateful for this morning. Let's do 3 things. This morning, I am grateful for being able to share mindfulness with you, and I'm going to take a moment to appreciate that. I am grateful for my family, that they are healthy and well, and I'm going to take a moment to appreciate that. I'm also grateful for bacon. It's delicious. And I'm going to take a moment to appreciate that. you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for showing up. Start to move around a bit. I like to light a candle to kind of have a physical indication of the duration of time. I usually put it out in front of me and set my gaze on it, put it on the floor 6 feet or so in front of me. Today I'm going to read you an excerpt from the Daily Stoic. It's daily meditations of Stoicism for each day of the year by Ryan Holiday. Today is March 18th. Impossible without your consent. Today I escaped from the crush of circumstances, or better put, I threw them out, for the crush wasn't from outside me, but in my own assumptions. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. On tough days we might say, my work is overwhelming, or my boss is really frustrating. If only we could understand that this is impossible. Someone can't frustrate you. Work can't overwhelm you. These are external objects, and they have no access to your mind. Those emotions you feel, as real as they are, come from the inside, not the outside. The Stoics use the word, Greek, hypolepesis. Hypolepesis, which means taking up of perceptions, thoughts, and judgments by our mind. What we assume, what we willingly generate in our mind, that's on us. We can't blame other people for making us feel stressed or frustrated, any more than we can blame them for our jealousy. The cause is within us. They're just the target. Thanks for joining, and have a great day.